Hey everyone, it's Film Buzz Hub and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the new film Sound of Freedom. This film is based on the true story of Tim Ballard, a former Homeland Security agent who founded Operation Underground Railroad, a non-profit organization that rescues children from sex trafficking. In Tegucigalpa, Honduras, Roberto, an unfortunate dad of two, is moved toward by a previous lovely lady, Giselle. Giselle offers to sign his small kids, Miguel and Rocio, to kid displaying contracts. He acknowledges them and takes them to the photo shoot. Notwithstanding, when he gets back to get his kids, they are no more. It is uncovered that the youngsters were offered to be utilized as sex slaves. Tim Ballard, a specialist for country security examinations in Calexico, California, is a victim of a pedophile hunter named Ernst Oshinsky. Despite his work, he is unable to save a single child from being taken advantage of. Chris, a specialist, reveals that they have captured numerous youngster hunters, but have not saved even one child. Tim, a pedophile himself, tries to gain Oshinsky's trust and set up a gathering with a kidnapped man to capture Lord Buchanan. Tim rescues a kid named Miguel, who is missing. He becomes friends with Miguel and seeks information on other children. Miguel's sister is missing, and Tim saves her. Miguel and Roberto return home, but Miguel gives Tim his holy person Timothy's neckband. Tim searches for Rocio and meets Vampiro, a former cartel bookkeeper, who tries to save children from sex stealing. Tim discovers a closed-tie sex club and decides to secure Giselle's children in a sting operation. He recruits Colombian cop Jorge and wealthy resident Paul to help. ICE, Tim's HSI manager, refuses to support the activity. Tim leaves, but ICE convinces the Colombian U.S. international safe haven to help. They convince Giselle to sell 54 children, capture the backstabbers, and free the kids, but Rocio isn't with them. Subsequent to cross-examining one of Giselle's partners, Jorge discovers that Rocio was sold as a captive to the progressive military of Colombia, dug in somewhere down in the Amazon regular locale behind a hostel area. Jorge illuminates Tim that it is basically impossible to recover the young lady, in light of the fact that the locale is generally unmapped wilderness wild, and any radical region is a restricted airspace for the Colombian government. Nonetheless, Vampiro recommends that specialists can get into the locale for clinical purposes, which gives Tim the plan to act like a specialist. Jorge hesitantly consents to the hazardous activity. Tim and Vampiro endeavor to enter the hostel area in masks, yet the radicals won't let the two of them enter, letting Tim finish the mission. Tim effectively accesses the faux camp where Rocio is being held. He discovers that she is being utilized as the individual sex slave for the revolutionary chief, El Alacrin, and is additionally being compelled to squash coca passes on to create cocaine to subsidize the radical conflict against the Colombian government. Tim figures out how to save Rocio yet is compelled to kill El Alacrin all the while. Regardless of being taken shots at by the revolutionaries, Tim barely figures out how to save Rocio and gives her the jewelry Miguel gave him before. Rocio is at last gotten back to her dad and sibling, and the family gets back to Honduras. An epilogue uncovers that Tim Ballard always avoided his vocation in government policing. He acknowledges his significant other for motivating him to make activity Underground Railroad, which keeps on saving kids from sexual bondage right up until now, and has persuaded the U.S. Congress to pass regulations that require the public authority to help out far-off nations on sex stealing examinations. The epilogue likewise expresses that there are a greater number of individuals subjugated today than at some other time ever, including when bondage was lawful. Large numbers of these slaves are youngsters, and the U.S. is one of the top customers of kid sex slaves. Overall, I really enjoyed Sound of Freedom. It's a powerful and important film that tells a story that needs to be told. If you're interested in learning more about human trafficking, or if you're just looking for a good film, I highly recommend checking it out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more reviews like this one. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comments below.